Good day, listeners from around the world. This is the Wide World of Motorsports podcast for the week of November 15th, 2020. I am your host, James Jordan. Here with me is co-host Mike. We're just maxing and relaxing, talking about some stuff that's going to be going on now in the off season. Since basically, if I'm missing something, I'm sorry. I'm sure there's like drag racing or something going on in the Southern Hemisphere somewhere, maybe. But Probably. As far as I know, the motorsports season is a close.
Sadly,
yes. At least until part of January when IMSA starts rolling stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
That's over.
Yeah, I'm excited. They always say that, when do you start preparing for next season? At the end of the last race of the season, they always go, when do you start preparing for next year? Tomorrow. And that's always the line, tomorrow. And that was indicated with a few things that happened on Sunday, or one thing in particular on Sunday, right after the Sebring 12 hour was Wayne Taylor Racing took delivery of their Acura DPIs. So they just finished racing 12 hours, and then they take the cars from Acura, from Penske Racing, and now they have them in their stable. So they didn't waste any time.
Wow. So how does that? So how does that work? Explain more with that.
Wayne Taylor Racing ran the Cadillac DPIs,
right?
And for whatever reason, and it's not come out, and I don't think it's going to come out, like a true reason why, but they've elected to switch to the Acuras. Now, this was the final year for Penske's partnership with the Acura or Honda HPD North America. Mm-hmm. And with the new sets of rules coming up with LMDH and all that, which we can cover on another podcast because there's a whole lot to unfold there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Basically, what's come out and what is rumored to have been taking place is that Team Penske and Acura's goals or for the future didn't align, so they couldn't come to an agreement to continue running. So they've since parted ways, and that left some Acura DPI chassis out there for purchase because Acura still wants to be represented in top level North American racing. Their head of Acura North America HPD in North America has stated like that is their biggest goal right now is they want to win top tier in North America. So after the race, I'm guessing without being there that everything was was sold. Everything that was sold of cars and parts and extra pieces all went to Wayne Taylor Racing, and I believe Meyer Shank Racing took delivery of the other Acura.
Okay, wow, that's crazy. I've never really even heard anything like that before.
It happens more often than I think people realize. Mm-hmm. How quickly that changeover can happen. The teams want to get to know the cars, right? And they got to get working on them and strip them. And they only have I don't know. I think they're saying it was 94 days, I think, on Sunday to the Roar before the 24. So it's only 3 months, right? Mm-hmm. To get ready and go. So that's interesting. That's a big switch for Wayne Taylor Racing because they've run GM products for a while. They ran the Corvette DP back before they changed to the new iteration, and then had run Cadillac. So this is a big departure for them to go to a proven brand. Really, I mean, the last 2 years have been won by Team Penske and the Acura DPI, and the Acura won the Manufacturers Championship this year again. So it's a strong car. It's a fast car. It's built on a great platform, and they have full support from HPD, that's huge. That factory support, the promise of helping get things done is big.
So Wayne Taylor Racing they're probably like the most important, renowned IMSA team. So this is obviously something pretty big.
That's hard to say. Their name has been in it for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And Wayne himself has been racing for, I think, since the early 80s. They are one of the stalwarts of the series, let's just say, because you still have Team Penske, and Team Penske's been in IMSA off and on for a lot of years. You still have, there's still other teams that have always been in, like Corvette is the other big stalwart in it. And, but they're the, I don't know. It's hard to say if they're the biggest or the best, but they're one of the stronger teams, or have been one of the stronger teams in the last, decade for sure.
So how did it all end on the weekend?
It was a great race. I know you and I were talking back and forth a little bit through the race, and I thought it was really good. I thought it was interesting strategies played out. You saw early leaders have issues, and some of it wasn't of their making, right? We almost lost both the Lexuses, however you say it. When the Corvette, I don't know what happened to him. He didn't lose an engine, but he lost something and dumped a bunch of oil on the final corner, and the two Lexi plowed into the barrier there, and one of them was out of the race, but the other one kept going, albeit quite a few laps down. The biggest one, I think, personally, the biggest thing that happened was Pippo in the 31 car blowing their championship chance, because Ricky Taylor and Elio Castroneves ran into problems. They were the championship leaders. We talked about this last week, and then Wayne Taylor Racing was running up who could have won the championship if they had issues. They were leading, and they ended up cutting a rear tire, I believe, due to contact. So they were way down the running, and there it was. Like, how lucky can you be? And going back to the 31's issues with the Acura cars at Petit Le Mans, remember when Ricky Taylor dive bombed Pippo and they took him out? Well, then they went to Laguna Seca, and Elio brake checked or ran into the back of the wheeling car, and it just boiled over into Sebring. And Pippo is it was a stupid move. There wasn't even a gap, and he put the car in. He took one of the Acuras out, not only giving himself a big penalty, damaging the car, and they finished 2 laps down, and Ouch. They could have won the championship.
Ouch. Yeah. That was the penalty at the beginning of the race, because I know there was lots of stuff going on throughout that whole race.
It was a busy race. Right. There was lots going on there. I mean, we had Corvette struggle with, I believe, brake and suspension issues. We had leaders getting tangled up in other people's business. And, at the end of it, we had Mazda winning with Jonathan Bomarito, Harry Tinknell, and Ryan Hunter-Reay, the IndyCar veteran and champion, coming in for the long-distance races. And I think that's their first win of the year, which is good. It's nice to see that. And then you had PR1 Matheson, who has an LMP2, who won the championship already. But they had Simon Trummer, Scott Huffaker, who I just want to say that name's not known. But I remember last year he put in a stellar performance at CTMP in an LMP3 car and Prototype Challenge, and he wheeled that car like from ninth to second in his stint of the race. Wow. It was amazing. Yeah, it was a good drive. And then in GTLM, you had Nick Tandy, Fred Makovecki, and Earl Bamber winning for Porsche, which is 2 in a row, which is great. And Porsche gets a 1-2 in GTLM in their final race in IMSA. They're not coming back next year. We've talked about that. Who knows when they're going to be back? And then we had Patrick Long, Jan Halen, and Ryan Hardwick in the Wright Motorsports Porsche winning in GTD. And that's great to see them win. Patrick Long's a longtime stalwart, and for Porsche is the only American factory Porsche driver. And you got Jan Halen, who's a Porsche master, and Ryan Hardwick, who is the pay driver, so to speak, in that car, but still does a good job.
Yeah, it was definitely a race that I was keeping an eye on throughout the day, and there was a lot going on. And for anyone who loves racing, it was a great race to end the season off. It was such a weird season.
Yeah.
We always said that in the last few episodes. Everything's so weird this season, and similar to how IndyCar ended, and to see IMSA end off with something unlike that, a race that had a lot of talk.
Yeah. It was, but I think it's leaving IMSA strong. Like that's what IMSA does. Mm-hmm. They do strong races. They have good races. I mean, the news that's coming out for next season already is so promising. Mm-hmm. We have because Meyershank Racing is leaving the Acura NSXs from GTD, and they're stepping up to the DPI. Acura is saying that they have quite a bit of interest in people running the NSX in the GTD category, which is huge. You have a couple LMP2 teams committing to next year, which is huge. And they've changed the rule for LMP2 with the driver rankings, and allowing platinum drivers to now participate in every race through this season in LMP2. So you might see a growing car count there now that they can get better drivers in.
Okay.
And then, like we were talking about last week with Ganassi, confirmed, bought a Cadillac DPI from Juncos Racing, who didn't race this year, but they were there previously. And they're going DPI racing next year. And we talked a bit about that, where I think that's where we're going to find Chase and Jimmy for the 24-hour.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of stuff obviously happening in the next couple of weeks and months, and we're all going to try to have it all covered here. You're always on top of it. I'm just I'm jumping into this whole thing, so it will definitely be covered here on the Wide World Motorsports, and it was cool to be able to cover the last few races of IMSA in depth. So there's a lot of good stuff going on, I think, there, and it's entertaining stuff. If people don't know, if they don't watch endurance racing or sports car racing, they should. I think it's really all the essence of racing.
Yeah, there's something different about it that for me personally I find incredibly intriguing. I absolutely love endurance racing. I think it's a very pure form of racing, and I like it because it's not just about going fast, right? There's strategy, there's fuel savings, there's tire savings. I mean, unfortunately, we see that in Formula One right now, which I think a lot of us agree that Formula One is not supposed to be endurance racing, but that's what it's turned into. But when you get endurance racing in an endurance series, it makes sense, right? You get to see multiple drivers, you get to see multiple cars, and not just different cars in the same class, but you get multi-class racing, and that adds just a completely different dynamic to the series. And the one thing I would say about that is that I think a lot of people, especially maybe people new to the sport or people that don't understand the sport fully, think that if you're racing prototype, you're better than the guy that's racing in GTD. And that's simply not the case. It's actually incredibly difficult to race in the slower car of the series, because not only are you trying to maintain consistent lap times, race for position, battle safely on track, but you're constantly looking in your mirror, watching for those prototypes, trying to get out of their way or not cause them to have any issues, and but still race your race. So it's like you, as a GT driver, you have like two races, right? You have your race that you need to focus on, but you're also watching the prototype racing, and the prototype's got to worry about the GT cars as well, right? They got to watch to see what they're doing. They can't just barge into a battle, although most of the time they do that, but they need to be mindful of other people's battles. But I mean, there's a lot of respect up and down the pit lane in endurance racing, and it just, that's what I like. And I find that there's a bigger camaraderie in sports car and endurance racing than there is in like Formula One. In particular, that's the best example I have. I mean, you've been to Mosport. You can walk up to anybody.
Oh yeah, I miss that.
Right? Yeah, I miss that too. I really do miss that as well. But I mean, these drivers, as long as they're not getting ready to get in the car and go do their job, because that is their job, these guys will give you the time of day they'll sit there and talk with you, for an hour, because I've had that happen with me. I've had a conversation with drivers and engineers, and they love talking about it. So that's why I really love endurance racing.
Speaking of most sport, and hopefully we'll be able to have those conversations, because next year, obviously CTMP has been, I believe, to confirm, IMSA's obviously got that on the schedule.
Yes, they do.
And then now NASCAR coming out with that today, the Truck Series CTMP, September 5th.
Yeah. I can't wait.
And COTA, as you said earlier, COTA's on there. That'll be the first road course race of the season for them.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see them there. I'm really curious how they'll take to that
a while
track.
to get around a bit.
Yeah. I would think it's a big track, and they're running the full circuit, right?
That's a good question, but I would assume so.
Okay. They'll be there that weekend with Xfinity, right?
Yes, that should be the double weekend with that. Isn't the Cup there too for that weekend?
Well, I was just about to ask that, and it seems like that's something we should probably know, but I don't.
Yeah. I don't have this, because we talked about the Cup Series schedule so long ago and the Xfinity Series schedule. So with the Truck Series schedule coming out so late this year, and they just announced it today, with new tracks, and real cool to be able to see that they're putting on Knoxville and Bristol dirt. With Eldora giving out an email to their ticket holders just the other day saying that NASCAR will not be returning to Eldora for 2021, and a lot of speculation about that. I don't know if I don't know if they're going to be retaliatory to Tony Stewart for the SRX series, but it's a good thing to talk about, because if NASCAR is adding on all these tracks, and you see maybe SRX kind of taking something about, racing on dirt again. And, we're seeing NASCAR kind of do that as well. That's very interesting, to see a schedule for the trucks that has short tracks, super speedways, road courses, and dirt tracks. And might as well throw in intermediate tracks, cookie cutters in there as well.
I mean, if the Cup Series didn't throw in Bristol dirt, I would say that the Truck Series is a more rounded series than the Cup Series. Like I look at the Truck Series schedule and go, and yes, NASCAR is going Dakota. Cup is going, and Nashville. But I look at the Truck Series schedule and I go, that should be a Cup schedule. That, you know what I mean? Like more races, but they should have a couple dirt races. I mean, put in a couple. They got the super speedways. They got road courses. They got short tracks. They got intermediate tracks. I mean, that's what I think. That's how you determine the best driver. That's my opinion, right?
Can they race in rain on dirt? Is that a thing?
I think they can race in rain on dirt and light or very light rain. I think what happens is that the dirt gets too sticky.
Right.
If it gets too wet, and then they can't race. Because I remember Tony Stewart talking about being at Eldora for the King's Royal or somewhere like that, and them having rain delays. So
okay. Because you'd almost think they could, but that's interesting because that could end up getting people to stop arguing about, can they race in the rain on ovals? Well, maybe that could be a possibility, but that's something we should look into for a future episode.
Yeah,
but
they can definitely run in the rain on the road courses, and I look at Xfinity and I look at the Truck Series, and they race in the rain. Now, I know this year the Cup Series at Charlotte raced in, I don't know if I would call that rain, but it was definitely wet or damp conditions. And I hope that on more road courses, when the Cup Series is there, that they make them race when it rains.
Yeah, and again, with next season being in question, we've always talked about too, who knows what's going to happen if the border's going to be even open. So hopefully we'll be able to go to CTMP for the trucks next year, and maybe we'll see some rain racing there. Not that being out in the rain's fun at most sport. It's certainly not fun at all walking around that track while it's wet and whatnot. But
yeah.
That's going to be cool to see something different next year in the trucks. To jump back over to the other side of the pond, F1, the big weekend for any Lewis Hamilton fan. And could definitely tell it was one of his biggest moments in his life. He was choking up. Obviously, as someone who would make a crazy record-tying 7th championship to equal Michael Schumacher. But the Turkish Grand Prix was his 94th win, and to be able to I was sleeping, but I saw some highlights of that. Yeah, no, that was way too early. If you're on the East Coast, if you're a real F1 fan, I guess you'd get up. But for 6:45 in the morning, yeah, I don't know. But with Lance Stroll, he actually led for most of the race, Canadian. Real cool to see. He was the first Canadian to take a pole position in F1 since Jacques Villeneuve, who accomplished that in 1997. So that was cool to see.
Yeah. If I can chime in just about Lance, I've been a bit of with friends or people talking, I've been a bit of a critic about Lance. But you got to give that guy credit when credit is due. He put that on pole. He put that car on pole position when Lewis Hamilton couldn't, Valtteri Bottas couldn't, Max Verstappen couldn't.
Even though they brought him to the
Vettel
stewards after, but
yeah. But I mean, he put that car on pole. He's a great wet weather driver. I just wanted to I think he takes a hard lick sometimes because his dad's rich and basically bought his way into Formula One, and You know what? But if my dad was rich and he could buy me into racing, I guess I'd want him to do the same thing, right?
Yeah. Me and my buddy, another co-host of the Wide World of Motorsports, Joe, we were talking about Brexton Busch, and it's like at the same time, like, do you really kind of like, do you want to hate that kid just because of that? Like, because isn't that what you're right? Isn't that what we would all want, really, at the end of the day? So.
Of course, we wouldn't say, no, Dad, don't pay for that. Yeah. I'm going to do it the hard way. No, you're going to get your dad or whoever to pay for it,
especially if it's Kyle Busch.
Yeah, of course. But anyway, sorry, I interrupted. I just wanted to throw that in there.
But that's a good way to end off here. I think, especially that. I was always questioning. I always see these people in groups post stuff with Brexton Busch and his hero card, and you always see like, freaking goddamn, man! They had like the results to Cash Boyer's and Brexton Busch's race. Like he was like about Brexton or Cash was about a car length or so from Brexton from finishing. Apparently, anyway, they weren't too far off from each other. It was a close race. Sad that I'm even talking about this.
Oh, really?
And I know about this, and I always opted to never talk about it on the Wide World of Motorsports, but I am. So
yeah,
I'm always like, I'm never sharing anything about Brexton on our page, at least until he's actually in NASCAR.
Well, yeah, that's funny. I didn't know Cash raced with him too. Like, I didn't know they were running in the same. I didn't even know they were the same age. So that's interesting.
Yeah, like 1 and 2, and there's always talk about, that's Busch and Boyer racing each other right there. And I guess you never know. You know what? And in some ways, most likely we will end up talking about them X number of years from now, because at this rate, you've seen it with Junior, you've seen it with Chase, you've seen it with countless other of the generational drivers, the Burtons, whatever you wanted, whatever, like you've seen that. You always see, like 20 years ago, you see these, you see a kid like, I bet one day we'll see them, and then lo and behold, it happened.
And it's because they grow up with it, right? They've got they got Brexton running early, but you talk about like Chase Elliott. Well, Chase was there when his dad was running at Darlington. Chase was there when his dad was running at these places, and maybe his dad wasn't going, you see, son, this is what you got to do. You got to go this way and that way. And he might not have been asking his dad, but he's watching his dad race, right? And it's kind of like almost subliminal messaging or teaching, so to speak, him to learn. So you're probably going to see that with Cash and Brexton.
Yeah, and you know what? I give people crap for posting that stuff in the NASCAR groups, because I'm like, this isn't really NASCAR related. Like, why? Because they're not in NASCAR, or is it NASCAR related because obviously of who their fathers are? And I think that's a debate, in my opinion. But we're sitting here talking about it, recording it, so
yeah, somebody did something right.
yeah, that's true. And if you're them, like, there's talk about it. But speaking of that, to end off this show, I just want to give a shout out. It made my day yesterday. But Natalie Decker and her mom, Amy Decker, she is now a follower of the Wide World of Motorsports, and give them that's cool. And obviously, with Natalie Decker being confirmed with COVID-19, I just want to obviously give our best wishes out to Natalie. And as I said, you got this, and it's when someone commented on a post and they said, there'll be racing next year, so just sweat it out. Play some iRacing. We got a league, Mayhem Racing League. Hop on in. Sure, we'd love to have you out.
Oh, she's always welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. But that wraps it up for another edition of the Wide World of Motorsports podcast. Make sure you check us out on social media at the THEWWOMS, as well as past episodes of the Wide World of Motorsports podcast on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, and Radio Public. Up next is episode 2 of the Mayhem Racing League podcast, right here on the THEWWOMS.
Remember when I told all my drivers? Drivers, reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time. Drivers, start your engines!
Welcome, listeners, to the Mayhem Racing League podcast, coming at you from in the pits for today's edition, recorded for the week of November the 15th, 2020. This episode is brought to you by Hendricks Home Improvements and the Wide World of Motorsports.
Hey Jordan, how you doing tonight?
Good to be here. Everyone's here. Introduce yourselves real quick.
Hey, David here. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Donald here. Thanks for having me, everybody.
Sean in the number 7 car.
Mike Durfee, number 13.
Yeah, it's Seth French here. Obviously, we got some good guys lined up for tonight. Donald Hickson was a street stock champ. He's in the house. And we got David, who's going to come out with some sponsorship things and have the normal roundtable going on.
Yeah, it's good to have all the big guys here, at least for sure. Let's start off with David here. He has kindly sponsored some of the stuff in the league here, and there's some cool stuff on the way with that. And tell us a little about yourself and give you some love here on the show.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. I run a business, Hendricks Home Improvements. We're out of Mooresville, North Carolina, aka Race City, USA. Conveniently enough, it's where all the big race teams are, Kyle Busch and Penske, and all the list goes on and on. I started my iRacing this year, pandemic and all that good jazz, and got laid off like millions of others, and got into this and found Mayhem Racing, and really developed into something that you look forward to getting into and meeting people, but then obviously the competitive side of things, and then having the business and trying to spread the word, and obviously the love within the make it something that's attractive to people.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate it, man. Thank you for coming aboard with us and doing that, being a part of this.
Yeah, man, it's a blast. I'm looking forward to what's next with you guys. Trophies and things like that, and a little bit of just participation things, like computer safe cups and stuff like that. Just weird things to kind of get the crowd excited, and kind of the added bonus showing up and racing competitively.
Yeah, that's cool that you're going to be a part of that and part of the sponsorship and really help this league to grow, to help us do some things for some of the members and give to those guys who are dedicated, who put the time in and come out and race hard and deserve a little something in the end.
Yeah, this whole league appreciates that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, a lot of folks are just like I am, to find dedication inside of a league where you're going to grow and develop, and, just the added bonus of knowing that there's people out there that want to see it grow just as bad as you do and want to get better as bad as you do. It's interesting and exciting.
Yeah, it definitely helps to kind of develop a community of guys that really know each other and come together and race hard and can race against each other each week and, get to know each other, and it gives it that realism as well.
Yeah, man, it makes it more like, going out to the local track every weekend or something, gives it the added edge.
Yeah, definitely. Now that you've gotten a taste of the Mazda series as well, I know you run the street stocks most of the season there last year. What do you think, and what's your favorite here series to run, and what's your favorite part?
I'm a go fast, turn left guy. On the streets and in real life, I'm kind of a maniac on the roads. My wife hates my driving, but yeah, I got to get a feel for the Mazdas and kind of see where I fit in, to see if I can really develop a talent there. And I think I can, but I think that's what it's all about, is getting on there and kind of like that last race where the dude just was blowing people away, finishing like 30 seconds ahead of us all. But I watch this replay and you learn a lot. And I think that's why I come, is to learn and get better. So
Slow is fast on those road courses, my man.
Yeah, that's how this all was developed and started, was a group of guys looking to just help each other out, get faster, run together, and have fun. So you're definitely in the right place.
Do you got a decal that you've loaded up to the Facebook group yet, so we can stick it on our cars somewhere?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm working on it. We do have digital copy logos and everything. I'm trying to reach out and see if I can maybe get some paint scheme or something like that with the Mayhem Racing and Hendricks Home Improvements on there. But yeah, it's definitely all in the works and trying to iron out some things.
I hate to put Mike on the spot, but he's done some paints for us on the team speed, so maybe he can help you out and at least get a paint going for you. Maybe get you a skin for the next couple races there.
Yeah, definitely. I'm up for helping you out with that.
Heck yeah, man. Keep it on the house, you know what I mean? On the fam.
Absolutely. I'm good having you.
I appreciate it, guys. Again, it's Hendricks Home Improvement out of Mooresville. We do just a bunch of things. Everything from, I like to call it the non-sexy work of owning a house, attic restoration, crawl space, gutters, things like that. The things that, one, they're risky, but two, they're just things that no one really thinks about. So if you're in the area and you have any needs, just feel free to give us a call. It's 704-775-3305. be more than happy to come out, take a look, and see what you got going on.
Yes, that's all those things our wives yell at us about to get done. We never get done. Call Dave; he'll take care of you.
That's it, man. Honey to-do list.
Yeah, and that's going to be real cool to be able to get those trophies and all the goods there, and I'm really looking forward to that. And that's a real cool part of the Mayhem Racing League for sure.
Yeah, man, I got a sticker for top 10 in street stock, and I know the trophies are out and everything. And I'm looking forward to really taking that to the next level with you guys, and not just the winners and the champs, but the hard luck guys, the guys we know that showed up, still maybe finished outside the top 10, things like that. Just show love all around and really make it a community thing inside the Mayhem Racing League.
Yeah, this league is built on guys like that, and we encourage all levels.
So I got to jump into speaking about trophies that went out. We got the street stock champ in the house, Donald Hickson. Donald, I know you and Jordan went at it a little bit there in the end. It was a tight battle. You came out on top. He's still upset over not getting a trophy, but just to kind of run through. Sorry, Jordan, to slam you there, but run through the season a little bit. Just it was a cool trophy you got. Run through the season maybe a little bit heading into the last couple of races. You guys are both running up front the last couple of races, and kind of give us a breakdown on that one, what you were thinking, what was going on.
Yeah, it's actually the first trophy I've ever that I can recall ever winning, so that's pretty cool, especially over something like online video gaming and all that. That's funny because most of the races, I think the home track was the South Boston. I felt really confident there, especially after the first race, how well I ran. I thought I gave one away to you. That was like the very first race, Seth. I think you took the victory in that one.
Yeah, you and I were battling a lot all year.
There's a couple of them where I think at spawn it may have been of my own doing, because sometimes I have a tendency to take it a little too easy, and sometimes people don't expect it behind me, and it's gotten me turned. I think it got me booted by Jordan and Jesse. Those are a couple I think I gave away, unfortunately. And I felt really confident all year, especially on the ovals. Obviously, it was really cool though to run the street stocks, especially out of the comfort zone to the Roval. That was really interesting. I think I like that the most because it was definitely the most unique. But anyway, coming the last two races, Jordan definitely I think had more momentum than I did, because I know I lost a handful of points. The second to last race, I think I got a black flag, if I recall. Exiting a closed pits. Thinking back on it now, I pitted a lap too late, and I'm really thankful that black flag got cleared, because that. Granted, the amount of cautions we have. Well, to be fair, the amount of cautions that we had, I would have probably gone back on the lead lap anyway. But looking at the end, especially the last race, I know he spun and all that when he was in front of me.
I choked,
even still, the amount of positions I lost on the last lap because I figured I was good at that point. If I would have lost another spot or two, it would have been quite interesting. I think we would have tied. That's
what I think too when it came down to it. Seems that way.
Yeah, I was counting points. I was between you guys, and Jordan was making a run up for Mike. Mike won that race, and Jordan was making a run for him. I was sitting in third, I think, and you were behind me. And I'm like, oh man, I'm the middleman here. I can't screw up because I can't give a spot up either because somebody's going to. I don't want to be the guy that decides it. But it was hard racing. It was a good finish.
I had someone on my stream say, "Wreck him." When I was at that point, I was 2 cars behind you, and someone was like, "Wreck him, take him out," because maybe I would have been able to gain out of that situation, but I wouldn't have.
Ballard hurted him.
Yeah, I choked out though. I choked out twice that race. So yeah.
Speaking of, it's funny you mentioned that Charlotte race. When I can't lie, I probably pinned you a little bit because I wanted to get my first win for the street stock.
Oh yeah, when I was clear just by a smidge on the inside there. Yeah.
Oh, he's got to send a trophy back now.
If you want to go back and anyone wants to check out the Wide World of Motorsports esports Team Machine stream where I did that live, my live reactions are pretty funny to all that. So
yeah, I'll have to definitely I'll check that out for sure. You stream every race, right?
I try to.
I need 2 more. I really should.
So I got to jump into upcoming seasons coming up for Street Stocks again. November 29th we start. USA is a home track there, which is going to be Jordan's kind of home track and his favorite. So I think you're going to have your hands full this year if he comes out on fire like he did when he ended last year. It's going to be a good season.
Yeah, that I like that track. That was actually the first track I ever raced on iRacing too. It's funny we're going there now. I started iRacing back in 2016, and that it's incredible how how much faster I've gotten. So it's pretty cool to kind of visit that track again and see if I can put my skill set to use and maybe do better.
Yeah, a track like USA for me is a lot more like my home track, Jukasa. Very similar in some ways. So I do really like short track racing, and any sort of track that's kind of close to something I'm familiar with, I seem to have a little bit of a more edge on, I guess. So
I look forward to seeing how that goes. I owe you one, by the way, for one of those South Boston deals.
We'll see what happens.
Right, I look forward to it, honestly, though. I like the competition. Actually makes me step it up.
Yeah, there's definitely some good competition in that series. In all of our series, there's great competition. And so just rolling on with the street stock, I want to talk about, we got the All-Star race. We finished off our first podcast, kind of telling a little bit about that. And I just want to get in a little bit more on that. I've worked out some details on that one. So we're going to be on week number 7. We'll have 6 street stock races run. Week 7 is going to be an off week, but the off week is going to be an All-Star race. For the All-Star race, it's a non-points race. So there's no points going to be awarded for it. So, but it's going to be a fun run. And what we're going to do is we're going to give a trophy away for that race, kind of like a mid-season break, but there will be a trophy to the winner to kind of limit who will be able to run that race. It's going to be open to all the street stock participants. You will have to run in at least 3 of the first 6 races of that season coming up, but that doesn't mean you just enter 3 races and skip out and just, hit the pits and take your points. You actually got to compete in 3 of the 6 races to be eligible for that All-Star race. And the All-Star race will be at Charlotte on the oval, and it's going to be in the Caddy. So something different for everybody, a new car, a little bit bigger. And I tested it out. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Sounds like
I like that too, because I won't be able to do anything during the week since my schedule's about to change. So the straight stock is going to be the only series I'll be able to consistently still do.
And them caddies are fun.
Oh yeah, I've driven that car before. Paddle shift too, if I recall.
Yeah, and I'm hoping we can get good 2024 guys out there as well, like our other races. That'll be a lot of fun with 24 of those cars out running around and zipping around the track.
I think it will.
It'll be action packed for sure.
Yeah, it will be. And looking around, I'm trying to pull the schedule up my computer here. I think I got it set right now for a 75 lap race in those caddies. So that should definitely be a long one and a fun one.
Giving away a trophy. You might want to stick a couple more laps on there. But 75 is for Charlotte.
Yeah, I was thinking about that and expanding it. I just worry about the time frame on it, how long guys want to run. But we'll do some more testing. It may want it being 100, 120 maybe. Something real fun.
And if we do that, lap times you turn.
Right, and I think our plan is going to be for that as well, is to make sure it's a mandatory 1 pit. And probably no fast repairs maybe on that one. We'll have a little more details still coming.
The Miatas, though, with this season so far, with Lanier and the Roval there and how things are shaping up, obviously with how intense that last race was, seeing how things are kind of going this season, this is really awesome. This is intense.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, not to kind of take all the hot air and the airwaves here, but that's my favorite series in this to run. That's kind of how this league started, and that's kind of my passion. That series is I've been really working on it hard. But yeah, so we're 2 races in. First race we had some yellows, had a little bit of problems, but that was kind of expected. That's a short track linear. We had 28 guys maybe in that race. So that's a packed house for that track. That's a lot of guys to put on a small oval. Yeah, that one was loaded real well. Wow. A lot of talent in that league. That league is from top to bottom stacked with guys that can win any week. And that's some good racing from start to finish. 24 actually. I'm sorry, it's 24. And then we just raced race 2. The Roval was 28 guys, I believe. That was a 25 lapper we just did, and that was pretty intense too. That was some pretty good guys from start to finish as well. 28 entries in that one. So we're staying at Charlotte this week. Tuesday night we run on the oval. Set for 60 laps on the oval, because those cars, I'm not sure how they're going to zip around there for 60 laps.
How many resets do we get?
It's going to be only one. I've kind of limited the season. Last year we got our feet wet and we kind of went to 1 fast repair now. So just so guys can kind of take it a little bit easy and conserve their car a little bit.
I'm definitely going to have more of a take it easy approach to that race, if that's the case.
Yeah, exactly. And because that series is pretty good talent. That's why we went with the 1 fast repair. But it's still open to everybody that wants to run it. Anybody in the league who wants to participate, put their effort in, put their best shot forward. It's all welcome, any level. We're not just not. We did get a couple pro guys in the race last week, so we go from pro level all the way down to, I think we got some D drivers, maybe some rookie drivers in there. But it's all open. Come do your best and put your best effort in and improve and have fun.
Yeah, last race was definitely showed we have all levels of drivers in the Mazda series. Top to
back on it now, I probably should have pitted, because I was almost a rolling chicane at the end trying to save fuel. It didn't pan out for a couple of people because of that, but still, I mentioned that because are we gonna have to have a pit stop for the Mazda on the oval?
I got to check that. We may have one. It's going to be a 60 lapper. I didn't check the fuel yet, but I think with a pit stop in there, it's kind of fun. It kind of adds a little bit of realism to it, a little more, even though it's a Mazda. So 60 laps, it might be close. You probably do have to have a refuel.
Yeah, probably splash and go, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I upped the laps this year. Last year we ran some shorter races, and this year I decided we wanted to extend it just a little bit, get a little bit more time in. We're trying to make all the races within that 30, 35 minute, maybe a touch more. That's kind of our goal. Because you get 20-minute warm-up. So it's like an hour-long event total by the time we're done. That's kind of the mission in all these races.
What are some of the races that we're going to be looking forward to for the rest of the season, the Mazdas?
Geez, I'm looking forward to every single one of them. But any you guys have a schedule up? I have it up. If you guys want to chime in real quick and talk, feel free to talk about these tracks in the upcoming Mazda season. Charlotte Oval's next. We're going to head to Japan for the Scuba Circuit. South Boston's going to pop up after that, 3 weeks from now. The new track, Ultan, is that how you pronounce it? That's a fun one. That's a real quick road course. Legacy Phoenix, one of my favorites, was a great track last year. Great racing.
That'll be it for me.
Yeah, we head back to Laguna Seca again. We're going to do that one again, which was a real good time. That's a big track, so 28 guys in that one will spread out.
That's one of Greg's favorite tracks, Greg Abney. I felt bad for him because I was like, he was really anticipating that race. I don't think it panned out to him so well. It's been a little bit now, but that's one of my favorite tracks too, especially for the Mazda, because I put a lot of time in that track at one point.
Yeah, watch out for Langton. That's his home track. That's his bit.
Yeah,
He loves Seika. He's quick. He raced a lot of different cars with him. He's quick.
Any road course is my favorite.
Yeah, right. Concord's back on there. That was a great one. Real fun track. I call it Mini Pocono, a little tri-oval.
Yep.
Concord's a classic.
Concord's a beautiful track. Okayama's going to be in there again.
Especially in those Mazdas.
We extended the season from 10 to 12 this year. Number 11, week 11, I guess I should say. We're going to be racing Mini Bristol, Southern National. I got it set for 85 laps right now. And then we'll finish up with Summit Point for week number 12.
Okay.
We're going to see our first 30-car field in the Mazda series this year, guaranteed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I could see that.
So we just hit 100 league members the other day, which is a pretty good milestone for us. We're still building and still expanding, but 100 members, that was a pretty good accomplishment from where we started and what we thought this would ever become.
And there's some interesting talk recently about some of the people coming in. Do we set a cap on iRating or something like that? Or do we welcome in people that maybe can show us a thing or two?
I love and hate racing against aliens. Like, I love seeing people that fast, but at the same time, it's like I know I'm never going to keep up with them, but I still like to think
aliens.
Yep, they're literally like, especially that one dude, Cliff, I think.
Yeah, he was. He showed me a thing or two for about a lap and a half, and then he slowly started to get away from me. But during that lap and a half, I think I gapped like 4 seconds on the guy behind me. It was incredible.
I fully admit I watched his replay just to see like, because it's a lot of little stuff that a lot of people like that do. It's nothing crazy or anything. It's just like brake here or whatever, like gas here, point the car here, like a lot of little stuff. It adds up, especially on that chicane, man. I don't think he lifted it all. If he did, it was
he just got the car pointing in the right direction really quick, and he just had amazing car control. It was unreal, like you said. I mean, yeah,
especially on that chicane, I noticed he got away from the wall and like straightened it. He didn't turn into it. That I did that the last little bit, and it helped.
I'll be honest with you guys, I never saw him.
They're talking about I forget his first name, Evan. Was it Chris?
Clifford Evan.
Cliff Evan, man, and that guy.
C.
Look out for him if you see him. He's unofficial. That guy, you'll be seeing the back of his car. That's all. That's about it.
We won't be seeing it for long either.
Yeah.
Yeah, put a good sponsor on the back of that car. That's all you're going to see.
I got that.
So just going forward, Jordan, to kind of answer your question, we were talking about maybe a cap or something like that. We've been throwing some things around, and we want to welcome guys in the league that are of a high level as well. But we want to keep it competitive as well. So we're looking for something for season 3, whether we split some stuff. Right now, I think those guys have decided that they're probably going to jump in and out of races, maybe come for 1 or 2. They wanted to check the league out. They heard about it. Doesn't mean they're going to be full-time guys. I don't know if they're going to stick around and be full-time guys. Maybe a couple of those guys at that high caliber level. But we've been discussing some things that we're going to do to kind of work on that and invite them in, but try to keep it so we're competitive. Kind of what we started out and how we wanted what this league to be when we started it. We're still working on an answer though for that, what we're going to do.
And that brings up an interesting conversation about teams. Maybe we could see it as those guys could be a team that are in the league, and maybe they're just only select races, something like that. Or there's other teams within the league that's even grown that I didn't even know of.
Yeah. So Donald, I mean, you guys are kind of an unofficial team right now. I believe it's gonna be you and Joey Campbell and Greg are kind of an unofficial kind of. You guys know each other type of thing. I believe.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like Greg's my cousin, so unfortunately, I'm stuck with him. I have to know him. But yeah. No, Joey. I've known Joey since I was in like preschool. Like I've known him my entire life. So, I mean, yeah, pretty much. We're always in a Discord every week. I think we recently added Jesse into it as well. And go back and forth. And
that sounds like a great team.
Yeah, it's pretty fun actually. It's pretty cool. We definitely poke fun at each other at times. It's I mean, what do you expect when you've known each other that long? You can get away with saying more stuff.
I was just gonna say some of the teams I'm aware of in the league are our eSport Racer, which is our the guys came in who are Zach Burke and Brennan Horn and Jordy Fike, a bunch of different guys who came in and they've really added some good competition to the league. The Steins are in the league as well, Dakota and Dylan. They race for Black Label Gaming, which is their own company. There's no team name for Hickson, Campbell, and Jeffers. We'll have to come up with something for you guys.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah. Give you some nicknames or something. And then, as we discussed on our first episode, Team Speed, which we came up with, which was Mike, me, and Sean have kind of formed our own thing, which we carried in before. Again, it's kind of an unofficial type of team. But we all just kind of race together and all been together and help each other out with different things.
And recently, I see Michael Wallace is in the group here, but he's also part of my team. Oh, there you go. There's Michael. Recently, he just joined Mayhem Racing League, the co-host to my motorsports podcast, the Wide World of Motorsports. And I've kind of been racing all along as the esports team, but I actually never had anyone on it up until now, which is real cool. So seeing some teams build up in this league after it's been a few months. When was this formed? In the summer?
Yeah, August was when Mayhem Racing League came in. Sorry. Yep.
Some brewings obviously from before, from other leagues.
Yeah, if you're not on a team doesn't mean don't feel like you're not welcome to come in.
Yeah.
Don't feel like you need to find a teammate. That's not what it's about. Just some guys know each other, they race together. If anybody in the league has a buddy who wants to join, you want to form your own team or talk to somebody you may know or get to know somebody while racing, reach out to them. Form your own little group, kind of like the NASCAR thing. I mean, you can help each other out a little bit or just work together in races or outside of races, and just that's what it's all about.
And maybe, who knows, maybe we'll be able to have maybe like a half-ass endurance race maybe down the road if there's enough teams and stuff and someone could swap in or whatever. I think there's a little bit of, like, you got to look that up, how to do that on YouTube, if anyone's interested in that, but that'd be something cool.
We've done it before, yeah, with Joey in the Camel GT series with the Audi and the Nissan. I think it was at Road America. That was fun. I think we drove the Audi that race. So you basically you can swap drivers. You just got to register as a team.
And who knows, maybe some of us from each team, maybe we can run as a Mayhem team at the 24 Hours of Daytona, the iRacing version of that.
That's something I've always wanted to do.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I've never driven the prototype car, though. Should probably do that.
Well, everybody's going to be on Hendrick's Home Improvement teams here soon. We get some of those sponsors up, get those on the cars. That's going to be neat.
I was just thinking about who I could get underneath me as some team members there.
Yeah, definitely. We got to get you hooked up and get some team cars going.
Sean has a little bit of a project going on.
Yeah, we've been working on something. We mentioned it last week, guys, about the Legend Series. So after a little talking with Seth, and of course we have help from Hendrick's Home Improvement, we are proud to announce the Loco Legends of Mayhem Series. As you know, if you listened last week, I like driving everything. I like road courses, dirt, oval. This series will have it all. Let me show you pull up the schedule here. We got Lanier Asphalt, South Boston, Lime Rock, Lanier Dirt. Then we're heading to Concord, Bristol, Legacy Phoenix, and Oran Park. Yeah, we're really excited about these. We had an amazing little fun run on Sunday. We did Legacy Phoenix, awesome. We did Oran, and everybody loved it.
Yes.
We had an amazing field of cars, 20-plus cars in each race. And we just knew right after that, me and Seth talked and Mike, and it was on.
The Legends cars?
Yep, we're doing the Legends cars. It's called Loco Legends of Mayhem series.
Awesome. I've never driven those.
You're going to love them. And it's also going to be open setup. It's the first open setup we're going to do in Mayhem.
Okay.
And they're generally easy, the Legends, for open setups and working on setups.
Yeah, the car's very simple, and we're always here to help. We're going to supply at least 3 to 4 setups per race.
Awesome.
And
Yeah,
something like
'cause-
that would be uploaded to the Facebook page, right?
Yeah, we'll put them on before and then have them in the race as well. Before practice, you can try them out as well.
Okay.
Now-
In there for 20 minutes.
Now we're planning on running these because we're so popular on Tuesday nights. We're planning on running these 7:30 Eastern time. So if you're running the Mayhem Mazda series, definitely jump in this one.
Sounds like
I want to so bad, but I gotta get out the second shift like ASAP so I can start.
You got to
doing
quit
it.
your job so you can run.
Yep.
We just got it.
It sounds like a blast. I'm gonna have to watch how many margaritas I have on my Taco Tuesdays now.
Oh, more the merrier, man. That'll be fun.
You are a
we're
lover of
gonna-
tacos, aren't you, sir?
We feel this series is going to grow very fast, very competitive from what we saw in the little fun run test we did.
Yep, so that'll run at 7:30 Tuesday nights right before Mazda. And we'll finish the race. We won't go past the start of the Mazda, but we're going to time it out and we'll roll right into the Mazda race afterwards. I just want to touch base. Sean had mentioned the schedule of Bristol. We do realize that is a paid track, and some guys that might want to run in the league might not have it, and we don't want to deter you from doing that. Our plan is at Bristol. If we get a good showing, we're going to incorporate Bristol into some of the other series. So if you do pay for it, we're going to run it multiple times in different series. If you don't have Bristol and you decide you don't want to spend the money on it, which we understand, you will be awarded some provisional points for that race if you don't run in it. So if you're in the standings, you're in point standings, you'll get something even though you won't be in the race.
Yeah, we're kind of using this series as like a little test bed for seeing if we're going to have people with one paid track. But like Seth said, we're providing that provisional, so don't feel like you have to, get that. Also with the open setups, this is our first series. We're going to run open setups. Don't be afraid of that either. Ask questions. We're going to have setups. And honestly, that's the best way to learn cars is you're going to have to eventually tweak them. Ask questions. It's really fun actually once you learn what the car does and what it wants.
Like I said, with Bristol being paid, if you do buy it, that's going to be our first paid track. I know we want to keep a lot of this league free throughout, but the first paid track we're going to have on our schedule, and we'll use it in all the other series, and it will stay in those series once we get that kind of established as one of our paid tracks. You won't miss out on it or not run it again.
That's
I
something
want
other
it.
leagues are
Bristol.
missing, I feel like.
So season 3 Mazda's at Bristol. That sounds fun too.
Oh boy.
I'm thinking you just named it, so it's in.
What about the Stadium Super Trucks?
Bristol.
So that's Mike's project. Mike, jump in with that a little bit. Maybe a little info real quick here.
That's going up until just before Christmas. I think with Christmas and New Year's, it's going to wrap up right before that. We will have an off week this next week due to Thanksgiving, but I should be posting the next track here shortly. I know we got Lime Rock coming up, which was a favorite, and we'll definitely get Laguna Seca back in there. Now it's just a little debate on the other track. There's a couple I have in mind, but as normal, by the time I post it, I'll post the setup because unfortunately you can't just run the baseline on any of them. I'll get that out in advance, and you guys will probably end up with more practice than me.
Yeah, it's always good to be able to have some of that important information. And people who aren't familiar, we're on Facebook, Mayhem Racing League. Lots of good stuff there. You can find out when races are. You can have a little bit of banter between some of the other guys. Also, there's cool stuff posted, like newspaper articles. And we also have our podcast, which maybe will be next week, maybe will be another couple weeks. What do you think there, Seth?
I'm thinking it's gained some popularity, so if guys are interested in it, we get some people to jump on as guests, we'll keep running it.
And once again, we'd like to thank Hendricks Home Improvements and the Wide World of Motorsports. Check it out on social media at the THEWWOMS, where we will be broadcasting as many Mayhem Racing League races as possible from our onboard cam and audio, the Wide World of Motorsports esports team machine. Check it out, facebook.com/the THEWWOMS/live.
Hi, this is Alex Tagliani, NASCAR Pinty Series driver. You're tuned in from the track to the community on Wide World of Motorsports, the #1 motorsport show in the community.